Hey Encounter Church, Pastor Aaron here, and I'm really excited to spend this time with you on today's Encounter Encouragement. And today I want to read to you from a book that I really get a lot of life out of. Every few years I'll open back up this from the early 90s, Jesus Freak, DC Talks, Voice of the Martyrs. This is their edition of the Voice of the Martyrs. And it's basically a group of stories of different people throughout history that have stood up for Jesus, and sometimes all the way to the point of death, and been willing to face persecution, torture, imprisonment. And it just really reaffirms what it means to be a Christian, reminds me that it's not always easy to walk with God, but that Jesus is always with us. And so I wanted to read this one because it's entitled Making a Better World. And I just feel like it's very applicable to where we are today. And this story comes to us from Romania in 1948. And it starts like this. It says, the tough young lieutenant faced Richard Wurmbrand, questioning him on his many activities with the underground church in Romania. After accusing him of lying about his contacts, Grecu, the lieutenant, ordered him to write out all of the rules Wurmbrand had broken while in prison. Wurmbrand willingly sat down at the table, writing out his declaration. It had been 2 years since he had held a pen, so it was difficult to write. After he had listed all the rules that he had broken, he ended his confession with this: I have never spoken against communists. I am a disciple of Christ, who has given us love for our enemies. I understand them and pray for them and for their conviction so that they will become my brethren in the faith. Lieutenant Grecu had been indoctrinated with the belief that communism was the answer for the world's problems. He sincerely believed that he was making a better world. But when he read this declaration, he was overwhelmed. How could Wurmbrand write of his love for a government that had put him in prison and tortured him for so many years? Grecu scoffed. This is one of your Christian commandments that no one can keep, huh? Wurmbrand looked at the lieutenant, his eyes filled with love of God, and responded, it's not a matter of keeping a commandment. When I became a Christian, it was as if I had been reborn, with a new character full of love. Just as only water can flow from a spring, so only love can come from a loving heart. Over the years, Wurmbrand had many other opportunities to talk about God's love with Lieutenant Grecu. Before he was released in his own prison cell, Wurmbrand had the wonderful privilege to see Grecu confess Christ. And what I love about this story is that it reinforces to each one of us that even showing the love of God in a simple way and pointing to Jesus, even in times of hardship, heartache, pressure, and in this case, torture and imprisonment, it can change the course of somebody's life and introduce them to the love of Jesus Christ if we start with love, even when that's not shown to us in the beginning, and that can make for a better world. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, I'd encourage you to share it, as well as like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love you. See you soon.